Hi students, I'm Sonia from Vidya Guru, starting a new session on current affairs. This session is completely in English medium. Completely in English medium for a genuine reason that we have students from South India, we have students from Northeast India. They are the ones who are unable to understand Hindi well. That is why we upload a separate session completely in English medium for them. If whosoever is there can understand English, that person can watch obviously, but this session is primarily short for our South Indian students. So I'm going to start with the session. This session is for the month of March 2021, as I'm going to start with the current affairs for the month. The session is significant. If you see one page on your screen, believe me, if that screen has 3 points, there are 3 questions which are going to be there in your exam. Such sort of questions, such sort of pages, they are 21 to 22. That means you're going to learn at least 60 new points today. The session is going to be relevant. In 30 or 35 minutes, I'll be actually completing 60 important current affairs, which are going to be there in your exam for sure. So please press the like button if you understand everything, whatever I'm teaching you. Share the video with your friends so that they can get the benefit of our sessions, exam relevant sessions. And please do subscribe to Vidya Guru's YouTube channel. Do subscribe, and apart from that subscription button, you have to press the bell icon which is there just beside the subscribe button. When you press the bell icon, then you will receive notifications from our channel. Okay, I'll start with the first question from here on, and which is about the new Chief Minister of Uttarakhand. Recently, there was a news in which we listened to such a thing that the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand has actually resigned from his post. So the new Chief Minister of Uttarakhand is Tirath Singh Rawat. After the old CM resigned from his post, the new Chief Minister, the government was of BJP, the government is of BJP. BJP is obviously placing a new Chief Minister over there, and that Chief Minister is Tirath Singh Rawat now. If I talk about the Chief Minister of a state, I should talk about the Governor of the state too. The Governor of Uttarakhand is Baby Rani Maurya. Baby Rani Maurya is the Governor of Uttarakhand, and the 9th CM which I am referring to, Tirath Singh Rawat, is the 9th CM of Uttarakhand. Keep that in mind too. Let's move ahead. Non-lapsable reserve fund set up for healthcare. This question is surely going to be there in any exam. In some of your exams, wherever current affairs are asked, this question is going to be there. Please understand this question for sure. When I say non-lapsable, there are students who do not understand or who are not able to understand well. I want to tell you, when you buy a policy, it lapses. Lapses, when I talk about the word lapse, that means it terminates. It comes to an end somewhere. Non-lapsable, that means it is not going to terminate. It is not going to terminate. So, non-lapsable reserve fund set up for healthcare. The name of that fund is Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Nidhi. As the word Nidhi is there, Nidhi means fund only. They are trying to set up a fund for healthcare. The name of the fund is Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Nidhi. They are actually taking health and education cess in IT from us. How much is that? It is actually 4%. Health and education cess is 4% in income tax, which is being taken from all of us. That fund is used. That fund is actually going to be used to set up Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Nidhi. Which fund I talked about? Health and education cess money, which they actually take from us, that is 4% in income tax. They'll be using it for Pradhan Mantri Swasthya Suraksha Nidhi. Let's move ahead. Head of panel to commemorate 75 years of India's independence, PM Modi. Please understand that this question is also significant. You can make out as Pradhan Mantri. Modi himself is the part of this panel. I am saying that PM Modi, Prime Minister Modi, is the head of this panel. This panel I'm referring to, they are going to celebrate independence. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav will be celebrated as Independence Day is approaching in some time. So 75 years of our independence will be completed, and PM Modi is going to head that panel, which is going to be there to commemorate 75 years of our independence. There are 5 pillars. They've kept 5 things in their minds when we talk about, when it comes to Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. They've kept 5 pillars in their minds, and they are freedom struggle. 5 pillars. The first one is freedom struggle. Ideas at 75, achievements at 75, actions at 75, resolve at 75. So these are the 5 pillars which are actually super significant. They can be there in your exam along with the name Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. As you know, PM himself was actually, PM actually became the head of this panel. That is why the entire thing is significant. Let's move ahead. Now we'll talk about chord group. Chord group, when I talk about chord means quadrilateral. That means I'm referring to 4, as you even understand the meaning of the word quadrilateral. So quadrilateral security dialogue. Quadrilateral security dialogue. Chord group is actually the group of 4 countries. The names are there on your screen. India, USA, Japan and Australia. These are the 4 countries which have actually, formed an informal dialogue group. That is Quad group. Obviously, they want to trade freely in Indo-Pacific region. The influence of China in Indo-Pacific region is increasing. So such a thing is making us conscious, making these countries conscious. That is why they formed this dialogue group. So this Quad virtual summit took place, attended by 4 of the countries. That is why, as this this virtual summit took place, the names of their heads become important for us, and the heads of these nations are USA President Joe Biden, Japan Yoshihide Suga, and Australia Scott Morrison. And we know the Prime Minister's name, our Prime Minister's name, so I'm not mentioning that. So these are the three other nations which are the part of Quad group. Let's move ahead. Dustalik second. If you read the first point, you may think there's a possibility. You may think that actually they are the part of 1 point only, but that's not the case. These are the 3 relevant points which I've mentioned. That means 3 different questions can be framed with these 3 points. So consider them 3 questions which are going to be there for sure in your exam, be it Dustalik or be it Desert Flag 6. So I'm going to start with that. Dustalik second is actually a military exercise conducted between India and Uzbekistan. See, when an exercise takes place, they may ask you what type of exercise was that. It was a military exercise. I've already answered that. The name of the exercise took place between India and Uzbekistan, then Dustalik second, that's the name, I've mentioned that too. The names of the nations become important and the venue can also be of some significance, I've mentioned that too. Chaubatia is the place in Uttarakhand. Exact location, if you wish to know, that is Chaubatia Ranikhet. So Chaubatia Ranikhet, Uttarakhand was the venue where Dustalik second took place, and Dustalik second between India and Uzbekistan. When I move ahead with Indian Air Force now, so Indian Air Force participates in exercise Desert Flag 6. Desert Flag 6 exercise was there with UAE, United Arab Emirates. So Indian Air Force took part in it. So this kind of exercise took place between India and UAE. The name of the exercise is Desert Flag 6. Air Force was involved. Keep that in mind too. Indian Air Force aerobatic display held in 70th anniversary celebration of Sri Lankan Air Force. We are talking about 70th anniversary celebration of Sri Lanka, of Sri Lanka's Air Force. So Sri Lanka's Air Force 70th anniversary celebration, in which Indian Air Force also took part, showed some aerobatics there. So that sort of thing happened between India and Sri Lanka. Air Forces I'm referring to. Let's move ahead. All major schemes of Ministry of Women and Child Development classified under 3 umbrella schemes. First of all, when I talk about Women and Child Development Ministry, Women and Child Development Ministry is headed by Smriti Zubin Irani. She is the Union Minister. First, I'll start from here. I am saying the major schemes which are there, they come under these 3 umbrella schemes, and those 3 umbrella schemes are Mission Poshan 2.0, Mission Vatsalya and Mission Shakti. These are the three umbrella schemes in under which all these major schemes come. Let's move ahead. PM to attend Golden Jubilee celebration of Bangladesh independence. Okay, when I start with it, I'll actually start with it like this. 26th of March 1971. 26th of March 1971, when Bangladesh got independent. When Bangladesh became independent, they got independence. 1971 I'm referring to. So since then, on every 26th March, they celebrate their Independence Day. This year, they'll be completing their 50 years. That is why Golden Jubilee will be celebrated. Our Prime Minister will be taking part in their Independence Day, will be the part of it. Year of Independence, I've already mentioned, that was 1971, which is actually the second point here. PM of Bangladesh is Sheikh Hasina. We already know that. What other thing I felt is important, that was Banga Bandhu, father of the nation. Father of the nation, that means I'm referring to Bangladesh. Father of the nation is Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. He is famous as Banga Bandhu there. Let's move ahead. Maitri Setu, as the name word Setu suggests, which means a bridge basically. It is a Maitri Setu, it is a friendship bridge. In other words, I'm trying to say Maitri Setu is a friendship bridge between India and Bangladesh. Between India and Bangladesh, they may ask you on which river such a bridge is coming up. That is Feni River. When I talk about Feni River is a trans-border river, to be very frank with you. It originates from southern Tripura. So from Tripura, it actually, moves to Bangladesh from there on. So I am saying between Tripura and Bangladesh, this bridge will be constructed. To be very precise, I wish to mention it. It is going to connect Sabroom Tripura and Ramgarh, Bangladesh. Sabroom Tripura. See, each and every detail I've mentioned here is important. You get to read, believe me, you get to read a lot many things. You get to read a lot many things. You have to attend a lot many classes to gain this much of knowledge. Please understand that the points are significant. I've extracted a lot many information from a lot many things. So Sabroom and Ramgarh, these are the places which are going to be united, through this Maitri Setu. Okay, let's talk about Bangladesh again. As there's another passenger train is also going to be there. One passenger train, new passenger train to be launched between New Jalpaiguri, that means I'm referring to West Bengal, and Bangladesh, Dhaka, Bangladesh. New Jalpaiguri to Dhaka, that means West Bengal to Bangladesh. These are the places which will be actually joined through this passenger train. Let's move ahead. Now I'll talk about a few days, the important ones which have their important themes to be read, to be learned. So I'll start with International Women's Day, and I'm sure that you are already aware that it is celebrated on 8th of March, but the theme is significant. This year's theme was Women in Leadership Achieving an Equal Future. Women in Leadership Achieving an Equal Future. That was the theme kept for 8th March. World Wildlife Day is celebrated on 3rd March. World Wildlife Day is celebrated on 3rd March. The theme which was kept, forest and livelihood. See, when we refer to wildlife, we can associate forest and livelihood with that wildlife day. Sustaining people and planet. That was the theme kept for World Wildlife Day, which is celebrated on 3rd March. The other day which is celebrated on 3rd March only, it is World Hearing Day. World Hearing Day and World Wildlife Day, they are celebrated on the same date. That is 3rd March. 3rd of March, the theme for the Hearing Day was Hearing Care for All. Hearing Care for All. Let's move to the other day, important day, and that is 4th of March. National Safety Day. National Safety Day is also celebrated. National Safety Day is celebrated on 4th of March. The theme was Sadak Suraksha. The theme was Sadak Suraksha. Sadak Suraksha, I'm referring to road safety basically. World Consumer Rights Day is observed on 15th of March, and the theme was tackling plastic pollution. Tackling plastic pollution, that's the theme for 15th March, which is basically celebrated as World Consumer Rights Day. International Day of Happiness is observed on 20th March. I'll be talking more about it because there was an happiness index and it was released, and the rank of India, okay, I'll be talking about it when I talk about this question only. International Day of Happiness is observed on 20th of March, and the theme for this day was happiness for all forever. Let's move ahead. Now we'll talk about a few important things again. We'll start with Mithali Raj. Mithali Raj has become the first Indian woman cricketer to score 10,000 international runs. Be careful when I talk about international runs. I feel that there are students, they start asking questions here. I wish to mention here that all sort of cricket formats I'm referring to, that she has become the first Indian woman who has actually crossed this mark, first Indian woman cricketer to score 10k international runs collectively. She is Mithali Raj, I was talking about her. But second woman in the world, second woman cricketer to reach this record. The first one was Charlotte Edwards. Charlotte Edwards is from England. She was the first woman cricketer to achieve such a mark, ever score 10k international runs. That is huge. Basically, we all understand that. The third point is also super significant. Now, I am sure that the question which is going to hover your mind is, you will be thinking that if I've already mentioned 10,000 runs, why I'm talking about 7,000 runs here? Please read the point carefully. The point states that first woman cricketer to score 7,000 ODI, only one day international I'm referring to, runs. So a first woman cricketer to score 7,000 one-day international runs, only one-day international. So that is Mithali Raj, and she is the captain of our ODI team. Let's move ahead. Bank removed from prompt corrective action framework by RBI. Okay, prompt corrective action is such a thing when a bank is, when a bank is there in a state of depression, when many stressed assets are there, when non-performing assets are increasing. So RBI actually takes an action, that is prompt corrective action against that bank. But I'm saying some bank has been removed from that list. So bank removed from that prompt corrective action list, prompt corrective action framework, that is IDBI Bank. And when I talk about the lower point, RBI to extend check truncation system across all bank branches by 30th September 2021. I wish to explain something here. Earlier there used to be an MICR number on the check that used to be used by the banks basically to understand the branch and everything which was related with the check. The checks used to get delivered to various branches to get them cleared, referring to that MICR number and the physical delivery of the checks. But here, when the check truncation system came into existence, it became easier for every bank to clear that check because physical delivery was almost stopped, because it is an image check clearing system. It is an image check clearing system, that is check truncation system. It was not there in all the branches, yes, till now, because when you talk about remote villages, such sort of facility is not available there. I was mentioning it like that till 30th September 2021, all the branches will have this CTS facility available to them. RBI has said that. Let's move ahead. RBI extends new umbrella entity license application deadline till 31st March 2021. Okay, let's read it slowly so that we can understand it. I was saying that RBI extends the deadline till 31st March 2021. What sort of deadline? I was saying the applications are there. The applications do come. What sort of applications we are talking about? New umbrella entity license. If some group, if some organization, there are many industrialists, applying for new umbrella entity a new umbrella entity. First of all, I'm talking about NPCI, National Payments Corporation of India, sort of new umbrella entities. They are into retail payments. NPCI is into retail payments. Such sort of entities people wish to apply for, organizations wish to apply for. So RBI has extended the deadline for such sort of new umbrella entity license application till 31st March 2021. See, whosoever wants to open this new umbrella entity, wants to get into such sort of thing, they cannot get that. They need to meet certain conditions here, and the conditions are there on your board. They need to have minimum experience in the payments ecosystem of 3 years. First situation, first condition, that has to be fulfilled. The second thing is minimum paid up capital is rupees 500 crores. See, not everybody can go and apply for such a thing. I'm saying that 500 crore is the minimum paid up capital for the same to get new umbrella entity license. Apart from those two conditions, the promoter group, either the promoter group or the single promoter, can have the share of 40%, but that is the maximum investment I'm referring to. Promoter group invests money, will invest money, has to invest money. That is how, they'll be able to, crop it up. They'll be able to bring it into existence. I'm saying new umbrella entity will be, started. But the share, the maximum investment from the promoter group or from the single promoter is going to be 40%. I am referring to it as maximum 40%. The question is important. Please keep that in your mind for sure. Let's move ahead. India's number one trade partner in 2020 was, it is shocking for you, but that was not for me. That is China. And I am sure that you must be thinking we are not buying anything from China. How can China be the number one trade partner of India? But that is true. That's the data of the government. So India's number one trade partner for the year 2020, that was China. The second was USA and the third was UAE. Hotline set up between the foreign ministers of India and China so that they can converse. External Affairs Minister becomes important here. S. Jaishankar is our External Affairs Minister, and I'm saying hotline was set up between India and China because the foreign ministers can actually converse with them. Let's move ahead. Now, a super important question. ISRO's PSLV, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, it is going to be there in your exam for sure. I don't wish to read it as PSLV, believe me, because if I pronounce the name correctly, if I actually pronounce the expanded form, of this, you'll be able to understand what I'm referring to. ISRO's Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, that means this is the vehicle which launches satellites, that is C-51 mission. It has actually successfully launched Amazonia 1. Amazonia 1 is the satellite of Brazil, and I'm saying such sort of 19 other satellites were launched from there too. The other thing which I wish to mention here is that it was the first. Why it is super significant? Because it is the first dedicated commercial mission. There are people, there are students who think that why we are launching the satellites of other countries from our launch vehicles, because we wish to earn money, as this is the commercial mission. Please read that carefully, that it was the first dedicated commercial mission, and that is first commercial mission by New Space India Limited. That is important. First commercial mission of ISRO? No, I'm saying first commercial mission of New Space India Limited. It is the same thing, but it is ISRO's commercial arm. Space India Limited is the exact name of that commercial arm of ISRO through which Amazonia 1 of Brazil was launched, and that was PSLV C-51. Let's move ahead. Third batsman in international cricket history to hit 6 sixes in an over, that is Kieron Pollard. When I talk about this fellow, please understand that there's an over. In that over, 6 balls are there which a batsman face, and a batsman can react in either ways. They can actually play it the way they wish to. But here something new, something very different has happened, but it has happened earlier as well. I'm saying he has become the third batsman. Third, that means there were two more, who got their names registered in the same line. I'm saying third batsman in international cricket history got 6 sixes in 6 balls, that means in an over. So the name of the fellow is Kieron Pollard. Kieron Pollard is from West Indies. Whenever you type his name, you will find it as Trinidadian Kieron Pollard. So he's from West Indies. I was saying that Herschel Gibbs is from South Africa. He was the first man to score such a thing, 6 sixes in 1 over. And second one was Yuvraj Singh. He's obviously from India and we know his name. The third one, recently it happened, and that is Kieron Pollard. What is important? What other things are important here? So I'm going to explain that. Be careful now, as this question can also be there in your exam. He was playing, Kieron Pollard was playing against Sri Lanka. Important thing. The second thing is the bowler who helped Kieron Pollard to score such a thing, that was Akila Dhananjay. So Akila Dhananjay from Sri Lanka was the bowler through whose balls were actually faced by Kieron Pollard to gain 6 sixes in an over. Let's move ahead. India signs defense agreement. Here I'll be talking about agreements or an MOU sort of thing on this page. So India signs an agreement, defense agreement for potential sale. They are selling it for potential sale of BrahMos missile. BrahMos missile will be sold by India. They have signed an agreement, a defense agreement with Philippines. So India and Philippines, for a defense agreement was signed for the sale of BrahMos. India signs an MOU too on cooperation in renewable energy with France. So if they ask you what sort of agreement was signed recently between India and France, that was on renewable energy. India to work jointly in the field of marine spatial planning with Norway. Marine spatial planning with Norway. So India and Norway, marine space, that means I'm referring to the space, sea space. Marine means sea life. They'll be obviously, cooperating with each other in the space of sea. So India to work jointly in the field of marine space, marine spatial planning with Norway. Let's move ahead. As you guys can make out, those who read, those who study, those who learn from me, they know that in quotation, I generally write the names of the books. So from here on, I'll be talking about the books, the ample number of books which are there. So I'll start with the first one. My Life in Full. My Life in Full, that means the family and our future, is the memoir of Indra Nooyi. So Indra Nooyi's memoir, My Life in Full, Family and Our Future, that's the name of memoir of Indra Nooyi. Work, family and our future. When I talk about the second and the third book, why I'm talking about these writers here, I'll talk about them too. Author of Sri Bahubali Ahimsa Digvijayam. Sri Bahubali Ahimsa Digvijayam. It is actually written in Kannada, because he was the ex-chief minister of Karnataka, the fellow I'm talking about, M. Veerappa Moily. M. Veerappa Moily, chief minister, he was the chief minister of Karnataka, erstwhile chief minister of Karnataka. He wrote this book. That is why this book is important. One reason. The other reason is he received Sahitya Akademi Puraskar also. That is why this fellow, the book becomes very important, and the language in which the book is written is also significant. Author of Sri Bahubali Ahimsa Digvijayam, Kannada, and I was saying M. Veerappa Moily wrote that. Author of When God is a Traveler. The name is fascinating. Anybody reads the name will think of reading this book. When God is a Traveler, and this book is written by Arundhati Subramaniam. Arundhati Subramaniam has also received Sahitya Akademi Puraskar. That is why this lady also becomes important and the book becomes significant for us. Let's move ahead. Now we'll talk about the index. the indices which are there on your screen. The first one which states that India's rank on economic freedom index, then India's rank on happiness index. You can read that and try to understand the state of India. Okay, India's rank on 2021 index, economic freedom index 121. The first rank was of Singapore, published by Heritage Foundation. When you read any index, you have to understand that there are three things which can be asked in your exam. The first is who topped the chart, who topped the index. That was Singapore. I've taught you that. Who prepared or who publishes that report or that index? Heritage Foundation. I've taught you that. We are from India. The questions which are going to be framed, they'll be mainly from India. So the rank of India becomes important for us. The rank was 121. I've already mentioned that too. So these are the three things which you have to study when you are studying an index. When we move ahead and when we start talking about World Happiness Index, it is prepared by United Nations. That is why I've written it like that India's rank on United Nations World Happiness Report. So World Happiness Report, India's rank is 139th. Yes, that's sad, but that's the truth basically. Out of 49 nations, India's rank was 139th. And who topped the chart? That was Finland. I've mentioned the name of that nation also. Let's move ahead. Indian Army leases 4 Heron UAVs drones from Israel. Indian Army is taking something from Israel. And what is that? Heron unmanned aerial vehicles. That is UAV. UAV is unmanned. The man should not be there. There's no need that a man can be there or a man should be there. When you talk about these Heron UAVs, you will see a plane sort of things. And you must be thinking they have to be manned. I'm saying they are unmanned aerial vehicles. These UAVs are drones basically. These Herons are being purchased or leased from Israel by India. When I move ahead, I'll talk about Dhruv, INS Dhruv. That means I'm referring to Navy here. So INS Dhruv is basically the ocean surveillance ship. That means it is for nuclear, missile and satellite tracking. We have this satellite the surveillance ship, and the name of this ship is Dhruv. Let's move ahead. Chairman of the panel of external auditors of the United Nations for 2021, Girish Chandra Murmu, and Girish Chandra Murmu is the CAG of India too. Okay, let me explain that so that you can keep it in your mind. After reading or just by reading, I wish to tell you, you will not be able to retain it for so long. I repeat that, I try to explain that so that you can retain it. My sole motive is that you learn all these questions. I was saying that Girish Chandra Murmu is the Comptroller Auditor General of India. He audits the accounts of central government. He is the Comptroller Auditor General of our country. Who? Girish Chandra Murmu. Now he has been given the responsibility of something else too. He does auditing, part. I know that. I'm saying that he has become the chairman of the panel. Which panel? The panel of United Nations External Auditors Panel. United Nations External Auditors Panel will have a chairman for 2021, and he is Girish Chandra Murmu. So from here on, I'll be actually wrapping it up. If you understood everything, please press the like button. If you could not, you can watch the Hindi session that is also there in the playlist. I'm wrapping it up. Thanks for watching.